What's up guys, EchoFox Theo here, back with another tutorial. And today I just want to cover how to fight Starfire, since she's a character that for me personally is really difficult and frustrating to fight. And I recently posted on Twitter like a list of characters that helped me the most, and I put Starfire as #1 on that list. And thankfully I saw that a lot of people empathized with me. So basically this video is just going to cover some essential things that you need to do against her and just some essential tactics that you need to utilize against her to be able to beat her, since she's a character that forces you to adjust your playstyle a lot. So yeah, let's get right into it. Now, one thing a lot of Starfires do is they force kind of this guessing game on you. And what that guessing game is, so she has this string, which is her 2-1 string. And a lot of times what Starfire players do is they do 2-1 close Stardust. Whoops, did the move wrong. They do 2-1 close Stardust trade. Now, notice how much chip that does. Take a look at my life bar. That does probably like 10% chip, give or take. Now, the one thing about this move that is basically the counterplay against it is what you can do is if you have a fast advancing normal, you can poke after it and interrupt it. So check that out. Basically, because Superman's forward 2 is one of the best advancing normals in the game, he was able to go past the Stardust portion. And there's a lot of characters that can do this as well. Supergirl can do this with her back 1, Black Adam can do this with his forward 1, and there's a few others. Now, one thing that I do want to point out is, let me do her other string, because she has another string that she can do this off of. So if Starfire players do it from here, you can do the same thing as well. 4, 2, 3 to poke past it. Now, one thing that I want to point out, though, is in some of her strings, you know, this one being an example, if you do down 1, and you do it a little too late, her Stardust is going to come out, and it's going to hit you, and you're going to trade against it. So just be really careful on timing your down 1s and timing your counter pokes, because if you're just a little bit too late, the Stardust is already going to come out, and it's going to force a scenario where the trade is in her favor. So just research what your character can do against that and how you can counterplay it. Now, she does have some counterplay against that too, and let me give you an example of that. So if a Starfire player is going to read that you're going to try to poke the Stardust, she'll do a hair flip instead. So basically what that does is, so let's say I see her do her 2-1 string, which is that, and I'm thinking, okay, for sure she's going to do her Stardust afterwards, right? So in advance I prepare to basically like counter poke against her. What happens is the hair flip stuffs my counter poke. So basically that hair flip is like the Starfire player reading that you're going to you know, try to counter poke her Stardust. So it's basically kind of like a 50-50 scenario where you have to guess whether she's going to let her hair flip out or not. So just keep that in mind. Like when you see her do that string, don't always assume that she's going to go into Stardust, because she might go into hair flip and then, you know, you take the damage in that situation, and then she like knocks you down and then starts her zoning again. So that's just to keep in mind, and just to show you guys that it works off of, you know, most of her strings. You know, Starfire players can do like 1-1-3 hair flip. And see, like I tried to poke in that situation and then I got hit. And one thing that I forgot to mention is a lot of Starfire players do 1-1-3 Stardust too as pressure, but you can also you know, do an advancing normal out of that. But I don't think you can down 1 it. Yeah, see, like when I try to down 1 this string, I get stuffed by the Stardust. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Just basically in short, the guess is that if she does her Stardust up close, you do an advancing normal to get out of it. But then if she does a hair flip and then you try to do an advancing normal, then her hair flip basically out-prioritizes you. So just keep that in mind, that that's like a 50-50 guess in that scenario. That's basically, you know, how her offense works a lot. Now, one other thing that I want to talk about with Starfire is that she has this move, which is her back forward 2. Now, this move is a lot better than it looks. So, first of all, it's an advancing mid. It's unsafe when you just do the regular version. Notice how it said it was a punish there. But when she does her EX version, I think she's at like -1 or -2, something like that. And then when she hits you, let me just do it with Starfire. When she hits you, she can cancel into her trait. See, that almost did like 30% on Superman. I think it's like 27% more or less. So that's all really good. But that's not what makes this move so frustrating to deal with. Let me show you guys what makes this move, you know, so frustrating to deal with. So basically how Starfire's back forward 2 works, I just like to call it Mace Charge because it's similar to Hawkgirl's Mace Charge in Injustice 1. Basically how it works is when she lets the move out, she's immediately airborne. And because she's immediately airborne when she does that move, she's invincible on the first few frames of her being airborne. And I'll show you guys what I mean by that. So let me set a reversal to the Tamaranian charge. So as a lot of you know, when Superman does a back 3, he's plus afterwards. I believe it's like +5. Yeah, it's +5 afterwards. So naturally, a lot of characters would have to respect what he's doing afterwards, like a forward 2, you know, a down 1. I mean, you can backdash afterwards, but then that makes sense because backdashes are invincible. Now check this out. So I did forward 2 right after my +5 back 3, and then her charge, because it's immediately airborne and it has like some invincibility frames due to it, it basically avoided it. So check this out. Really, really frustrating, huh? So that's something that you have to respect. Like a lot of Starfire players, you know, when they see that there's a situation where their opponent is plus, like they'll do that to kind of avoid the plus scenario. Here's another one. You guys know how Superman's 4-2-3 trait is +2? Well, check this out. See that? It basically stuffs those plus frames. So now you guys might be thinking, well, like, what do we do against Starfire? You know, what's the counterplay against this? Well, one thing that I realized with a lot of characters is that if you read that they're going to do that charge, you can jump back, and then back forward, and then, excuse me, you can jump back, dash forward, and then punish them. Let me show you guys. See that? I read that she was going to do that charge, so I did jump back, dash forward, punish. Let me show you guys again from a different situation. Jump back, dash forward, punish. And there's a lot of characters that can do this, you know, if they have a really good forward dash and a really good normal. So just research if your character can do it. You know, other characters that have really good, like, tracking tools, like Black Adam's Black Magic, he can basically just, like, jump back and then Black Magic punish to, you know, stuff that. Now, I do want to show you guys another scenario where Starfires do this a lot. So, Starfire has this move, which is our EX Hair Flip. And that move is -1. So, because it's -1, you would assume that if you have, like, a 6-frame move, you can just get a free counter poke afterwards. Well, you know, again, check this out. Again, you know, it stuffed my down 1. Oops. Well, see, there I did the down 1, you know, really early, so it didn't stuff it. But let's say I do, like, a forward 2 afterwards, right? Again, stuff my forward 2. So, Starfire players, like, they take advantage of those situations where it's, like, they're in a minus scenario or, like, you know, their opponent is plus. They take advantage of a lot of those situations by doing the, you know, back forward 2 to negate any kind of, you know, situation like that. So, basically, like, the rule of thumb is if Starfires see that, like, their move is -1, -2, or -3, they'll do that back forward 2 as, like, a read to you counter poking afterwards. Or if Starfire players see that you're, like, you know, +3, +4, +5, like I showed with the back 3 and the forward 2-3 trait, they'll still do, like, that back forward 2 to kind of negate those plus frames. Another thing that Starfire players do a lot that I noticed is they'll do her EX charge, and then they'll do, like, a charge again to basically, like, you know, read if you're going to try to counter poke afterwards. I did the recording wrong there. 1 second. Whoops, I did it wrong there too. See, like right there, like I showed that I was a little too late on doing my forward 2 poke. So, the subsequent back forward 2, like, stuffed my forward 2. If you guys noticed there, like, when I time my forward 2 differently, it hit her out of the mace charge. Let me see if I can do it again. See, like right there, like you guys notice how when I did the 4-2 a little too late, it hit her out of the follow-up mace charge. I mean, that works, but I feel like it's really risky to try to do that in tournament because if she hits you with that and then EXs it into trait, that does like 30%. So if you're just like a frame off in timing your forward 2 and you get hit by that, you're basically like back full screen where she does like her zoning and then you have to work your way back in again. So yeah, that's basically like another thing that Starfire players do a lot. And basically, like, how the metagame works with Starfire full screen is what a lot of Starfire players do is... So when she does her full screen Stardust, she's plus afterwards. So what a lot of Starfire players do is they'll keep on doing this because it leaves them plus. And if they read that you're going to forward dash afterwards, they'll do, like, full screen Stardust into trait. So, like, they'll do that, and if they read you're going to walk forward, they'll do the trait to, like, stuff your walk forward. It's kind of hard for me to emulate that scenario since I don't have someone to show it with. But, so one thing that's really important about fighting Starfire is always looking at how much trait that she has. So, like, if she uses up all her trait, that means while it's recharging, she can't cancel her Stardust into trait. So that gives you an option to be able to forward dash, after you block the Stardust. So just always like look out for how much trait that she has, Like if she has trait, that means there's a possibility that she can do her Stardust and then cancel it into trait to punish her walk forward. But then, if they're really overzealous in doing that and like their trait is on cooldown, that's when you know that you have a little bit more leniency to be able to walk forward against her or dash forward against her. So that's another thing to look out for against Starfire. And, dealing with Starfire on Wake Up is also a really tough thing to do because she has a lot of different Wake Ups. Because it's like, she has her Wake Up hair flip, right? Let me show it real quick. Which is Burning Desire. So let's say I knock her down. Whoops. I did reversal. Excuse me. Burning Desire. So I knock her down. I can stuff that with a neutral jump. So it's like I knock her down, neutral jump, bam, that Wake Up whips. Now the read is that if they read that you're going to neutral jump, they'll do this move instead. And you see how like that 360 hitbox hits Superman out of the jump back. Even when I jump back, like it still hits me out of it. So that's just another thing you have to look out for. And then like when she does that move, that's when you would read it, block, and punish it. And then like another like Wake Up that she has is she can, like if you knock her down and you jump back, she can hit you with that. So that's when you have to kind of like jump back at a weird angle like that so you can be able to punish it. So it's like I knock her down, I jump back, and then like I can do a laser afterwards to punish her. It's not the most optimal punish, but I'm just like showing that, it's an option. And then most of her Wake Ups, like if you block them, like if she does her EX hair flip, I think she's like -1. If she does her EX mace charge, I think she's like -2 or -1. And that's when that whole guessing game starts, where like if you're able to counter poke her afterwards, or you read that she's gonna do, the other mace charge. And then always remember that if you read that she's gonna do a mace charge again, that's when, like I showed you guys, you jump back, dash forward, punish her. So yeah, that's like just a little bit of pointers on what to do against Starfire. She's a really complicated character to fight against because, a lot of the great Starfires, they have great neutral, great zoning, like they have a lot of counterplay in those scenarios. But this is just like a few like little pointers to kind of get you started in your journey to lab against her and to eventually, beat those really annoying Wi-Fi ranked Starfires. So yeah, that's all I got for this tutorial. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys liked what you saw, a like and subscribe would be greatly appreciated. Thank you guys so much, and have a great day.